Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today, we are talking all about all of the GLP-1 news stories and things that have come out in the past several days over this past weekend. We're going to talk about them all. So I hope you'll stick around for that. If you're new here, my name's Brittany. I've lost over 100 pounds on compounded tirzepatide and branded Mounjaro, and I love to share my story here. Your stories here, all of the things GLP-1 related. So subscribe, leave me a comment, stick around. I would love to have you join in on the fun. So we have three main topics that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. We're talking FDA compounding, we're talking kidney disease, we're talking blindness, we're talking all of the things. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it with the biggest update I think that we have gotten lately on the whole FDA compounding tirzepatide thing. This is the first main official thing that we have heard from the FDA in regards to their intention to prosecute during the court case. So the FDA actually updated its guidance webpage, which I will link down below, on February the 11th. And this is the first time that they've said or listed on their website what their intentions are in terms of prosecuting or taking criminal action against compounders within the next several months while the lawsuit over the with the OFA is going on. So they have hinted here and there, they've said to the judge, right, that they would not prosecute during the until a judgment is made, until a court decision is made in that trial. And that is what they now have officially listed on their website. So I'm going to read directly from it so that you guys can hear exactly what it said. So they state, in regards to 503A pharmacies, they have until February 18th, 2025 to compound tirzepatide or until the date of the district court's decision on the plaintiff's preliminary injunction motion in Outsourcing Facilities Association versus FDA, whichever is longer. So essentially, this is the first time that they've come out and said, we're not going to prosecute until this court decision has been made. And so that's big, I think. And I think that having that officially in writing from the FDA is going to influence what these pharmacies do going forward in the next several months. And then in terms of 503B pharmacies, they have until March 9th, 2025, or until the court's decision is made, whichever is longer. So I think that this is really good news for us in terms of whether or not we're going to be able to continue getting it. I know that I made a video last week where I was speaking about how the pharmacies have until that date to compound the medicine, and then they can sell it until the bud date has passed. And so that is still the case. However, lots of pharmacies have actually come out, which a few of you guys in the comments pointed this out to me. Red Rock, for one, who until my current vial has been the only place that I've gotten my compounded tirzepatide from. And then my current stuff is from ProRx or Perfect RX through ProRx since Orderly has started doing business with them. But Red Rock has said that they're going to be using some additives. Mochi Health is altering dosages to hopefully make it compliant. We don't really know how long that sort of thing is going to last. If that'll work, right? We don't know. We won't know for a while. However, this is good news because it's officially in writing on the FDA's official website. We're not going to prosecute until a court decision is made. So I think that you're going to see some pharmacies kind of continuing business as usual as they're watching the court process go down, essentially. So that, I think, is a really good update on that. And so I think it shows that we're going to be able to get it for at least a little bit longer. It's not going away on February 18th or on March 19th, especially since they're able to ship until the bud dates. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is actually this new research that just came out on February the 11th, 2025, in regards to kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, and GLP-1 use. Now, there is this new study done that was headed by Dr. Zong. I hope I'm spelling her or saying her name right. It's Zhoung, I think, who is an assistant professor of internal medicine at UT Southwestern in Dallas. And essentially what she did is she headed this new study that was published in the US News and World Report on February the 11th. And if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes, so I make sure I say it all right. But the study lasted 2 years. So it's a pretty long study, which you would assume then could gather some really good data over a 2-year time. And it followed 64,705 veterans who have both diabetes and chronic kidney disease. So this is essentially called diabetic kidney disease. And this is a class of individuals that is honestly hard to follow, and most often they are not included in clinical studies and trials just because of their increased rate of all of the things bad happening. Diabetes in itself is a hard one to especially include in clinical trials, and then add in chronic kidney disease and it is just a big mess. And so oftentimes this class of people is left out of clinical trials. So what Dr. Zhoung did is essentially took half of that 64,705 people and put them on a GLP-1 RA for the duration of the study. And then the other half were on a common class of kidney medicines called DP4IS for the duration of that study. Now, what these results showed, and again, I will link this article down below, but what this results showed was that those who took GLP-1s were 16% less likely to die during the study period, 10% less likely to need hospital care, and 36% less likely to see progression of their kidney disease. So 36% of those people had less kidney disease progression over the course of the study compared to the half of the people that were on the typical kidney meds. So this is really good news, right? This is just another thing we're adding to the pot that GLP-1s can be used to treat, and it's just like so cool, I think. So Dr. Lingvei, who is the physician who co-authored this study, stated that this high-risk population, as I was saying, is rarely included in clinical trials due to risk of complications. So a lot of clinical trial hosts or people running clinical trials just don't want to include this population. Typically they are older, they're diabetic, and they have kidney disease, right? So this is a class of people that is really hard to treat, really hard to get control of their issues, their diseases, and so they're often left out. Now, what she said, and quote, is, our findings demonstrate that GLP-1 RAs can lead to fewer cardiovascular events, less progression of kidney disease, and lower healthcare costs. So essentially this group, the sun shines in my eyes, this group of people are known to be very costly for insurance companies, right? Again, just with the fact that they're older, the fact that they have kidney disease, the fact that they're diabetic, wrap those all in a bow and you have a recipe for disaster in terms of healthcare costs and all of that. So the point is that being on GLP-1s, even with the higher cost of the GLP-1s, significantly reduced healthcare costs for those individuals. And that is just amazing, right? Like, insurance companies should be jumping up and down to have this benefit, just as they should be for obesity, right? Like, the lower healthcare costs in the future of people that take GLP-1s now and get healthy is completely crazy. And I cannot believe that more insurance companies aren't jumping on this now. I think in 10, 20 years, once we see the data of how much healthier people are, people that took GLP-1, so me now at 36, being 46, 50, and seeing how much healthier I am and how much less healthcare cost I'm using or less insurance claims I'm filing in regards to healthcare costs, I think that more insurance companies will come around once the data is really there. But I think that this 2-year study was a really good way to say, hey, this dangerous class of people is able to take this GLP-1 and significantly benefit from it health-wise, but also significantly lower the potential healthcare costs for all of the insurance companies. And just the fact that all of these were veterans, meaning they are most likely, or they are on VA government, like TRICARE, government funded healthcare, that lowers government cost. Again, it's all going to tie into the government. If you're not familiar with how insurance companies work, it's all going to tie into when Medicare and Medicaid start covering it, and TRICARE even, and what the fee schedule ends up being for that. It all trickles down after that. Like everything in coverage and what insurance companies pay, it all starts with what the fee schedules in Medicare are. Literally, it all does. That's actually, I've kind of hinted before that I was in healthcare prior to staying home with my children, and that's actually where my bit of specialty was in I took a lot of courses in college on healthcare and Medicare and fee schedules and all of that. So yeah, it all starts there. It all starts with the fee schedule that Medicare decides they're going to pay, and it trickles down to every other insurance company. So I think that this is really good, a good sign with them being veterans coming out and saying, hey, all these people on TRICARE, if you treat them with GLP-1s for diabetic kidney disease and it lowers it, they're all going to be doing so much better, and we're going to be paying less healthcare costs for them in the long run. So obviously the hope is that further research will be done. A 2-year study is a great start, and 64,705 people being studied for this is a really good start. But the hope is that further research will be done, and that maybe some GLP-1s or the use of GLP-1s will start to replace some of these older chronic kidney treatments that just haven't been as effective for treating chronic kidney disease, diabetic kidney disease, all of that. So I think that this is such good news. I really wish that this had been around 10, 15 years ago. Well, no, geez, my grandfather died in 2012. He was a veteran, and he ultimately died of kidney failure. And I think that this really could have helped him, if we would have had this development 15, 20 years ago. I know that all things in their due time, but it's just amazing now. I feel like when we are in this generation, or in our 70s and our 80s, the different ways that we are going to be treated, hopefully, in medicine is, I think, like just so cool and so amazing. And I love, y'all remember, this is a bit of a tangent, y'all remember 2 years ago, if you've been around that long with me, and I started this journey, and so many people, all of y'all, not y'all, but all of the people, because I was one of the first, were commenting on my videos, wait until you got all the cancer in 5 years. Wait until you see how this is going to ruin your life in 10 years. You just wait and see what this med's going to do to you. How could you trust this med that is so new? That is not new. GLP-1's been around for a long time. But anyway, I think it's cool 2 years later, now that we're like, oh, hey, it's going to treat kidney disease, and it's going to lower the risk of heart attack and stroke and repeat strokes if you've had strokes prior. And it's going to reduce all of these cancer risks that are associated with diabetes. And it's going to help your kidneys, and it's going to help your sleep apnea. It's going to, I don't want to say I told you so, but I mean, the research is looking like I told you so, So I don't know. I think it's just so incredibly cool. Every time I see something new that this treats, I'm just so all over it. I love reading about it. So if you got anything else, send them my way. But anyway, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is actually something that I mentioned in the video. I made a whole video about it last week, and that was blindness associated with GLP-1s. Most often, like Ozempic, Wegovy. Since I have published that video, I have been contacted by no lie 15 of you telling me that you have had some type of vision problem since starting on a GLP-1. Now, it's like blurry vision or vision spots. One of you had total blindness in one eye. Lots of things that are like super scary, I think. Now, I am like, so of all the things that I think that have worried me, like the thyroid cancer and the pancreatitis and all that, I feel like this is the one that scares me the most. And I don't want to scare you guys. I'm not about scaring you guys, right? I've been on a GLP-1 for 2 years, and I've not had any major issues with my vision. And so I think that it's pretty unlikely that I would now. However, what I do want to say is put out a warning that if you are somebody who has experienced blurry vision or like your vision going in and out, I'm not talking like necessarily dizziness, because when you like stand up, for example, sometimes I get dizzy. If your blood sugar drops suddenly, you can have blurry vision, whatever. So the rule of thumb that I've heard lots of people saying, they even said in that study, is if you have some type of blurry vision that does not correct itself within like an hour. Diabetics can have blurry vision if their blood sugar drops too quickly, and that's typical and it's a side effect and it's well known. But if you have something that is more permanent, or if it keeps happening over and over again, it's not something that you had an issue with prior, please tell your doctor, get in with your ophthalmologist and get checked out just to be safe. A lot of these things that are coming about are reversible if you catch them soon enough. I don't know. I've just been hearing so much about it. I want y'all to be safe. Go get it checked out if it comes down to you having symptoms that you're not used to having, changes to your vision that you aren't used to having. Please go get it checked out so that you don't end up blind or whatever. I think that we as patients have a responsibility to ourselves and to other people to share what our symptoms are. Your doctor doesn't see you every day. Your doctor doesn't live with you. He doesn't know what you're experiencing. So if you don't tell him, then he's not going to know, right? So if you are experiencing anything, not just related to your vision, any side effects, go tell your doctor. It's the only way you're going to get it fixed. I see a lot of people that are like in Facebook groups or on Reddit, like, hey, I feel like this, or I took my shot last night and now I feel this. What do you think it could be? I love sharing advice with you guys and stories with you guys, but 10 times out of 10, if you send me an email that's like, blah-da-da-da, blurry vision, bad diarrhea, whatever, I'm going to tell you to ask your doctor. And I think that's what everybody should be telling you to do. Don't take people on the internet as doctors, unless you somehow know that they're a doctor, right? We're not doctors. We're just sharing our experience. And so I want you to go and talk to your doctor about it, and don't go blind in your eyes, please. Okay. That's my little spiel on that. I know I already made a video about it, but y'all, 15 people is a lot. And some of them were more so like, it ended up being like a blood sugar dropping thing, whereas they went to their doctor and they talked about it, and it was like, oh, you're diabetic, you're on this medicine now, it's stabilizing your blood sugar. You might stand up, get a dizzy for a second, and then your vision will correct itself. And so several of them were explainable in that way, but there were a couple that weren't. And so that's why I'm saying you got to go talk to your doctor so that you can find out if it is something that you need to get further addressed, or if it is okay. You know what I'm saying? You got me? Okay. That is my update for today. Tomorrow's video, we are actually going to be doing a what I eat in a day again. I haven't done one of those in like 2 or 3 weeks now at this point. And then I have a couple of fun videos for you guys on Thursday and Friday this week as well. I have 5 planned for the week. I actually took a lot of time yesterday and researched and planned and did all of the things for my work, quote unquote, which I don't always do. I need to be better about that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If there's any more major GLP-1 news that I did not mention, please leave it down below. I would love a link. Love an article. You guys know that, and you guys can leave anything down below for me. Shoot me an email, join the Facebook group if you want to, and share there as well. So many of you share articles over there, and I love to read them. So links for everything will be down below, the Facebook group, Orderly Meds, the treadmill I use, all the things. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Now the dogs are going to bark right when I'm ending the video. Bye, guys.